Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a movie review, which, oh god, I haven't done in like a long time. So I was like in a writer's block. There was like some family stuff too, but more than that, there was also like this writer's block. I did not know what to do. There's like nothing coming out, and all I was doing just gaming, and I did a few movie trailer reactions. So you know what? I thought like, why not? Why not actually take the time to actually go back and do some reviews that I never actually did, or just never had the chance to, because it was before I actually started the channel. So let's start with Casino Royale. The movie No Time to Die is actually coming out November, so this is perfect. Even if I post like one per month, there's only four Daniel Craig. I'm only gonna do the review for Daniel Craig movies, so others I'll probably have to watch all of them again before I start reviewing those. But these ones I actually recently just watched them. So let's start with these. So let's start with this a bit of a backstory to this. From what I remember, when this movie was initially announced, uh, it was kind of in that state where we did not really know whether Pierce Brosnan is actually coming back, or they're gonna go with like a new Bond. Like basically, the social media was not as big. Even like when this came out, I think the social media just like Facebook just started, so it was these news did not roam around the world as fast as it is right now. So it was this thing where first it was, as I said, whether they wanted to bring back Pierce Brosnan, or they're gonna go with the new Bond, and also whether they're gonna go in like a new direction completely. Whether it's going to be a sequel or like a direct sequel, it's going to still be related to the other Bond movies, like Pierce Brosnan Bond movies, or is it going to be like a new story, or like a backstory, or like a reboot? So when all of this happening, and then they announced like it was Daniel Craig, and then they're gonna go with like a full reboot. Well, we know what was going on. It was like, he doesn't look like Bond. What are they doing? He does not have any of the characteristics that Pierce Brosnan or Sean Connery or Roger Moore, those kind of Bonds had. And first thing I'm gonna say is that when it was the first time I watched this movie, I thought it was good. I did not think, right, yeah, I did not think it was great. Now, over time and over the years, I do think now that this is one of the best Bond movies ever in its own right. And another thing I'm going to say, I am not going to compare to Daniel Craig to any of the other Bonds. I can compare, if you want, I can compare Pierce Brosnan to Sean Connery, whenever I do those reviews, or Roger Moore to Sean Connery, or Roger Moore to Timothy Dalton, or there's the other one, I always forget his name. His name is the hardest. Or to, Pierce Brosnan and all those, because those movies were those kind of movies. They were very similar in the structure. They were kind of the same kind of Bond. Obviously, all the actors had their different touches to it, but they were in that different mentality, a very different take on the Bond uh, character. Whereas Daniel Craig is a completely different Bond. So comparing him to any of the other Bonds, or comparing them to Daniel Craig, I personally think is completely unfair. I do think to compare Daniel Craig, we would have to wait for the next Bond, or whenever they recast, which they're thinking of doing after, or they actually are planning to doing after No Time to Die, and then the one after that, and so on. I think those Bonds will be more in line with what Daniel Craig is as Bond, whereas comparing them, all the other ones, to Daniel Craig is just, it doesn't make sense. They're very different. Now, after saying that, what Daniel Craig did with Bond, and over the years, I think was a fantabulous job. The way they built his character arc in this, he really shines. He still has that Bondisms, but remember also that he's not the the Bond that we know yet. He doesn't have to be like Pierce Brosnan, or he doesn't have to be like Sean Connery, but you still have the Bondisms to the character, right? And without spoiling anything, if I'm gonna keep these spoiler free, if you haven't seen the other ones, like the sequels, just gonna say that there is a character arc there, and where he starts and what they're trying to do with this character and the mistakes, they all come through. He is touchable. There are times you feel like, how is he gonna get out of this? He has that, oh, I'm young, I'm not gonna listen to nobody, I'm gonna do whatever I want. He has that, and they played that beautifully, and Daniel Craig played those situations really, really, really well. The torture scene, just gonna say that, the torture scene, one of the best nerve-wracking scenes out there, without being too violent, and that's brilliance to like what the direction can do, right? A good direction, brilliant. It was funny, but it was also nerve-wracking, because you really, really did not know, like, how is this situation actually going to resolve. So he was brilliant. And the other thing this movie did really well was the Bond girls. In this case, Bond girl. Human. Very human. Yeah, it's a Bond name. Vesper. Sure. But again, it went with what the movie was trying to do. And it was that Bond used to be, like with the previous movies or the other ones, they obviously wanted to change that aspect of him where it's like this worldwide phenomenon. They brought these characters and the story to very realistic situations where it's about the characters. There is a story for sure, and the story is so realistic because it's always about the characters. It never goes into this, oh, it's the North Koreans and the Russians and nuclear bomb and satellite and the worldwide network and all of that. And it hits you harder because it's personal. And it hits you harder because the bad guy, Mads Mikkelsen, hopefully I've pronounced that right. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Wow. First of all, you always have to have something wrong with his eye, or one of his eyes, or both of his eyes. But man, goddamn, he played the character beautifully. There was so much of his character, like there was dialogue, but there was also something with his eyes, the looks that he gave, and you can just tell so much of his character from that. So there's that third positive, right? The bad guy is actually really, really well played. And obviously the supporting cast is always great. Judi Dench as M. It was a great decision. I know this was a reboot, but they decided for her to come back. Amazing. Amazing. She kills it. She's that mom, obviously in this Bond, like they make her into this mom figure, and she plays really, really well. The action sequences are all again grounded, thrilling. Sometimes they're a bit over the top where you're like, okay, you're not gonna survive that, but it keeps them in believability. So obviously like the chase sequence. Then there's the airport sequence. Then there's the fight in the stairwell. The one sequence I do think that they could have done a bit better was the final action sequence, the one that takes place in the falling building. I do think that could have been done better. A bit the fight sequences in SAR, there was a bit too many cuts, whereas the other one, especially the I forgot the Aston Martin flip, the camera was wide. They let it roll. It was not like the car's rolling and you gotta show it from all these different angles. They kept at it. It was in the front and you just see the car roll, and it gave you that thrill that you needed from that. So that last sequence, I do think, in special effects when the building's falling down, you can tell it's a bit CGI. So they could have touch it up a bit, because the moment that happens right after, it's a big moment. And the way this movie ends, it's amazing. Amazing, because it sets up something really big. And man, the more and more I watch this movie, I watch it, like, I try to watch it every few months because it's that good of a movie. So initially, as I said, initially when it came out, I thought it was good. I I would have, at that time, I probably would have given it a 6 or a 7. I'm honestly going to tell you now, I give it a solid, like a very high 9 out of 10. It's an amazing Bond film, and not just that, but it's actually an amazing, uh, you can even say like a character-driven action movie, you know? So yeah, if you have never watched it, which I don't think that's possible, but if you have not, because it's Daniel Craig, it's a different Bond, it's not your style, please do start watching these. They are worth the watch. And with that, I'm gonna end my review. Sorry about the kind of the slow time that I had. Now that I've posted this, I'm gonna start again with my movie reviews. I have a lot of movies. I can definitely, you can tell. You can tell. You can literally like start watching those and start posting reviews for anything that I have. So keep this. You'll expect more reviews to come. With these ones, with the Daniel Craig Bond movies, expect one per month. So if I'm posting this one today, you'll probably have like the next one, Quantum of Solace, around the same time, around the same date next month. So one per month. And also expect me to start doing reviews sometime soon for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they delayed the Black Widow to November, I think. Yeah, I think it's November this year. So expect those, because those are the ones I really want to talk about. So expect those. So yeah, sorry about the delay. Sorry about the kind of the slowdown on the channel. I'm extremely sorry, but yep, I'm back. So thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the 40 subscribers. Take care. Stay safe. And I will see you all later. Ta-ta.